They said, I can do what I please. You'll never succeed. You're too young. You got no money. You don't have enough followers. Are you crazy? Yeah, I heard all of it.
Yeah. They tried to box me and early told me stay in my lane, repeat grade suspensions, punished for thinking my way. Pull your socks up, head down, don't question the line. But I never fit the system, I was busy redesigning mine. We think different, 1% wired, rules with suggestions, not limits, just fuel for the fire. Told to behave to conform, to keep quiet and play small. But we weren't built for permission, we were built to build it all.
They said I can, I said I will. Just watch me.
This is Monday Night Live, we're going legendary. We ain't built to be ordinary. Catch me live on LinkedIn and YouTube, dropping value for you and you and you and you. Together let's make it, together let's move. This is Monday Night Live, we don't follow trends, we set them. We don't wait for luck, we weaponize momentum. I didn't fit in a school, didn't fit in the room, didn't fit the mold, so I built something new. Now clients change lives, businesses transform. Almost $1 billion built from strategies born. Leads coming daily, deals getting closed, systems at scale while you're still chasing hope. This ain't hustle porn, this is structure and truth. Where relationships beat algorithms and views. Likes don't pay bills, let's say it louder. Relationships do, that's real power. Most businesses chasing flings, one night stands. We're building families, trust, long-term plans. If you know the difference, you're my type of people.
I still face pressure, I still face doubt. Every damn day I figure it out. But I was built for this weight, built for this fight. This isn't luck, it's decades and nights. Nathaniel Bibby, name holds weight. Bibby Media Group, yeah, that's legacy in the making. 25 years in the game, scars and receipts. Thailand, Hong Kong, worldwide. Learn how business really beats. Sales is human, marketing's trust. No shortcuts here, just skill time and us. Let's get down to business.
Drop it in the comments. Monday Night Live, this is Monday Night Live. Show up weekly, change your story. Come for the tactics, stay for the identity. This is Monday Night Live. 1 year from now, you won't recognize your business. Different thinking, different standards, different results. We ain't built to be ordinary, we're built to be undeniable. And you motherfuckers can't stop me. Drop it in the comments. Pull up live, let's build something real. Monday Night Live, Monday Night Live. This is Monday Night Live. Show up weekly, change your story. Come for the tactics, stay for the identity. This is Monday Night Live. 1 year from now you won't recognize your business. Different thinking, different standards, different results. We ain't built to be ordinary. We ain't built to be ordinary. We ain't built to be ordinary.
What's cracking, ladies and gentlemen? We are live. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been live, and you may notice that we're doing it a bit earlier today because we have a special guest who hopefully will get the link soon and join us. How you doing? Drop in the comments and let me know where you're tuning in from. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Very excited to connect with you guys. That intro gets me so pumped. I haven't heard it in a couple of weeks. It's funny, the editors like mashed up like a bunch of clips that I just sent them like a OneDrive folder. And the funniest clip in there is of me in my living room with that metaverse thing on my head, like playing with that. What the camera didn't catch is I was playing this boxing game, with this like virtual reality headset on. And boxing game. So like, you're boxing. I think you only really need to just tap, but I'm there, going for it. And you see in the clip, I'm in the living room and the TV's right there. So you can imagine what happened. Ended up punching the TV and immediately ordered another one so that my fiance didn't notice by the time she got home, and it unfortunately arrived just after she did. But yeah, you got to be careful with those virtual reality things, my friends. All right, so drop in the comments, let me know where you're tuning in from. It is Monday midday in Perth. So we are 3 p.m. over in the East Coast. Our guest today, if he manages to join us, is from New Zealand. We're going to be talking about attention. I mean, attention is the most valuable currency in business right now, isn't it? Drop in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And let me know if you agree that the most valuable thing right now is attention. I mean, you can't run a business without it, right? It's the most valuable currency in business right now. If you listen to Gary Vee, he's been harping on about it for a decade. The guest that I've invited on is Stanley Henry, and he runs a company called The Attention Seeker, and they're fantastic at that, just getting attention. And he's hopefully going to join us and tell us all about it. Most people are still trying to buy attention. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but you can't afford to just rely on that. The real play is earning attention, because how cool is it when people expect to hear from you? They want to hear from you. They know what you're going to be talking about. You can always amplify that strategy with ads. But I tell you what, if you can build an audience where you've earned their attention, that's the real play. So, geez, we've got people from Toronto, from Atlanta. This is interesting. Hey, when we do it at a different time, we just get people from different locations because of the time zones. It's very difficult to find when you've got a global audience to find a time that suits everyone. So it's interesting to try it at midday. Most people are still trying to buy attention, right? And the only problem with that is you have to constantly buy more. There's two things, right, that you need when it comes to attention. You've got. It's not enough, right? You get attention, but then you've also got to build trust, okay? That's how you build an audience. Because you gain attention, build trust, and they know what to expect. They know that they can rely on you, and that's how you build an audience, okay? I was reading an interesting post that was sent to me by Storm Dawson, the legendary Storm Dawson, recently about Stephen Bartlett, who has a diary of a CEO, right? And the thing with the Diary of a CEO, if any of you watch it, is you can click on any episode. It doesn't matter if you know the guest or not. And it's going to be, it's going to be good. Like I can literally just click on any of the episodes and enjoy the conversation. Stephen Bartlett has to make 20 to 30 calls a year to guests that he's invited on the show, that have flown all the way to London or New York to one of his studios, done the interview. His team have done all the research. The guest has, completely got. Oh, we've got Stanley in the green room. Stanley, I'm going to bring you on very shortly. Thanks for being here, my friend. He does all of that, and he has to call the 20 to 30 guests every year and tell them, that the interview wasn't good enough. We're not going to publish it, so he can maintain that level of standard. There's not many podcasts that do that, and he's just a gun at it. So let's move on because Stanley's here, and I thought I might have to buy some time, but looks like he's ready to go. Stanley Henry is somebody I've been watching from a distance. This is going to be the first time we meet on camera. He's the founder and CEO of The Attention Seeker. It's a organic first social media agency based out of Auckland, New Zealand. And as I understand it, they're expanding into the US. He's built a business and a team, from what I can tell, extremely quickly, right? He's got over 2 million followers, generated more than 1 billion organic views. And he's not big on paid ads. So just strategy and content people actually want to watch, attention that's earned. He's one of the most followed guys on LinkedIn, in the B2B space. And he's done it all while being a self-described introvert, which I love. Stanley should be jumping on in a second. This is going to be a good one. So let's give him a warm welcome. And while I'm doing that as well, by all means, jump in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. This is live, so the whole point of this is you can ask questions as we go, and we can address them and tie them into the conversation. So more warm Monday night or midday if you're in Perth. Welcome to Mr. Henry.
Hey,
my friend.
How are we?
Made it. How are you?
Yeah, good. Sorry I was running a bit late. I clicked the wrong link. Oh, man. Technology, I'm hopeless with it. So thanks for having me. Hey, great to be here.
No worries. I think we only got you the link like 10 minutes before, so I totally understand.
Yeah. Nah, all good. I clicked the one in the calendar invite, and then I saw your LinkedIn message. So anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm here. That's all that matters.
Yes. I'm going to whiz you over here. Would you mind just giving us a little bit of your background in business in your own words?
Yeah, cool. So, oh, look, you gave me a pretty good intro, but I guess where my story started from was I used to run hotels for a living. I did that for 12 years. I did that across Australia and London, and I did a small stint in Japan. And I kind of got to a point where I realized that if I continue down this path, I'm going to keep making other people rich, and I won't really make a whole lot of money for myself. So I asked my wife or my partner at the time if we could go out and do it on our own. We did. 2019. 6 months later, lockdown happened, and I guess throughout that lockdown period is where the business really started to come to life. As I was just using LinkedIn as like a platform to like share my journey of building my business for the 6 months leading up to lockdown as I started. And everyone was like, "Oh, hey, can you help us with our LinkedIn now that we're all locked in and can't go out anywhere?" And that's kind of where the business sort of started, and it sort of took off from there. And everything you've said, we've grown the LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, podcasts, YouTube, all that sort of stuff. I guess our whole business premise, our whole like pitch to people is that we do for you what we've done for ourselves. And the reason you're sitting here talking to us is because you've seen it work. And that's how you've gotten into the funnel. So everyone comes into us inbound from watching our content. And then our pitch to them is like, our job is to do the same for you. So create content that people want to watch, build an audience. And ideally with that audience, you've got the right brand message behind it to have people want to use your product or service. And then that kind of takes us today and everything else you introduced me with.
That's awesome. Have you always been a creative person?
I probably never said I was. However, over the last few years, I've probably had to admit that there is probably some creativity in there somewhere. I think that what I'm really good at is solving problems. I think that that's what I'm being best at. I'm really good at understanding what the core of a problem is. There's a joke in the office that if you ask Stan a question, the reply is going to be why. And I just keep digging until I get to that core of that problem. Because of that, from a creative perspective, like I actually am really good to understand like what are we here to develop anyway. I'm not necessarily good at like making content. Like my team are way better at creating content than me, but like creativity, I think, is just like a interesting way of solving a problem, and I've always been pretty good at that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Now, had you started businesses in the past?
I had like dabbled at little side hustles and stuff like that. When I was in London, I did a little clothing line over there for a little bit, and like I had like a lawn mowing business. Well, I said business.
Really? I did a lawn mowing business.
Yeah. When I was young, when I was like 19 at uni, trying to like pay my way, like I had like a route of like 15, 20 lawns that I do every other week.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a great experience.
Yeah. And then, I mean, my whole life I grew up with my father, who's like a serial entrepreneur. So I was like born and bred into this system of like working for yourself. All my brothers are entrepreneurs. They all have their own business. None of us have salaried employees or anything like that. So it was like born into us.
Yeah. Okay. And what was the moment that you knew that this agency could be a real business and not just some side hustle?
Yeah. So when I first started, I had no clue what the business was. Like for that first 6 months, I was just in New Zealand building my brand on LinkedIn, just trying to find out where I could offer some value. It only became a thing, and I latched onto it when I just get message after message during lockdown of people saying, "Stan, you know that stuff you're doing on LinkedIn, putting out your content, getting leads and whatever, can you help us do the same thing?" And that it was at that moment where I kept getting that. I was getting like emails after email that I was like, hey, there's something in here. And it was probably like literally the first client I signed in May 11th, 2020. I still remember because it was the first time I got some payment after I quit my job in hotels. I hired my dad straight away, and I said to him, because he was essentially retired, and I said, I need you to come and help me so that if this goes pear-shaped, I can fire you and you won't do a personal grievance of fair work against me. And so he was like, yeah, sure, I'll come in and give you a hand. So that happened literally straight away in May 11th. And then those clients started to fall in. Like, I think there's like 4 or 5 that happened within a couple of weeks. So it was at that moment, I was like, okay, there's something here. The demand's strong. It might just be capitalizing off of this COVID pandemic. However, if I can this might happen for a bit longer anyway. So if I can just capitalize on this, get some runway underneath me, and then I can evolve it into something else. But yeah, it was pretty much straight away. Like as soon as that first client in, I was like, okay, the inquiries quite a lot here, and people are willing to pay me for this. And I had like done it in a way which was quite like profitable at the time. Yeah, I was away with it.
Okay, well, tell us more about that. I mean, I've got, we've got a lot of marketers that tune into this show, whether they're watching live or watching the replay, and so we want to know the secrets, right? So, what is it you think that makes a difference between somebody that's posting content and somebody that's making money from content?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's like probably a few different tiers to it. There's obviously the content creator class who are literally just like they're media companies. They just put out content and people just pay to have their products inside of them, right? That's the creator class. Then there's like the guys at the bottom end who are posting content because they thought they were told to, and they've just been putting stuff out. Nothing really happens from it, but they're just kind of moving and they're trying to do it when they can and think about it. And then there's the guys in the middle somewhere, which are probably like the entrepreneurs, the business owners who understand that like I need to do this to generate income. What they're doing differently typically is consistency is one. That's a huge part of it. The second thing that they're doing different is they're probably talking and meeting people a lot. Like you guys reaching out randomly to like, hey, you want to jump on a podcast? People do this with me all the time. Like want to grab coffee, want to have a meeting. Like I have time for people. Like I put out content to get conversations with people. So I always say yes. And I think when you're in business and you understand it, like you take those opportunities. Whereas a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just hope they can just put out content and sell some widget. But actually the guys who are really making cash, they're like making effort, talk to people and speak to people. So there's like the in-person part as well. So that's the second piece. And then probably like the third bit is that I don't know if people understand that they're doing this, and I think a lot of it's intuitive for like entrepreneurs and business owners who are doing it, but like there is brand strategy behind it. Like you are showcasing inside your content your values as a brand. If it's your personal brand or your company, you're just like naturally doing this thing and you're talking about what it is that you're doing or whatever. So people start to make up their mind for themselves. Like I never talk about marketing on any of my content. In fact, like my Instagram at the moment is all about AI. It's got nothing. In fact, I'm like talking about AI taking marketing jobs. It's got nothing to do with marketing. Yet people are still messaging me on Instagram or on TikTok going, hey, would love to have a coffee with you to see how you guys can help with my marketing. And the reason they've been able to find that is because, there's a link in my bio or whatever, but they're watching me, they're building trust with my story. They can relate to it. There are other business owners who are also trying to figure out how to put AI into their business. And then like, oh, this guy also does marketing. He's got this team. And so there's some trust that gets built. So there's like a brand image that I've been building. Like my brand identity is this guy building in public that like I say it as it is. Like I'm very open and like transparent with my content, both on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. And then they like look at that and they say, okay, here's someone I feel like I can trust because he's told us everything else that's going on and going wrong in his business. Surely I can trust him with this bit as well. So that's kind of like my brand image. And I think a lot of people who are making money doing this online, they do that. Whether or not they do it intentionally or not, I think they're just like, they're those types of people who are quite genuine. They're very open to share and they've got this really strong brand identity. So people know why they want to message them.
Yes. And I want to talk about that building trust and being authentic. And I know it's an overused word, but sharing those mistakes and stuff. But there's a lot of things what you're talking about, like there's this conception, and I'm interested to know whether you think this is a myth or not, that building brand, building trust takes time, and not many people quantify that time. But in your view, does it take time? And if if it does, what are some things you can do to compress, the amount of time it takes?
Yeah, I do think it does take time. I think that there's like there's a certain number of times that people have to see you to build that trust. Sometimes that can be done faster. Usually it's done faster when people are looking at it more opportunistically. Like I might say, for instance, at the moment, there's people in my Instagram DMs going, oh, can you help me with our AI? I don't do AI as a business, but they've seen me make content about what we're using AI, and they think they're quite opportunistic to be like, oh, maybe this guy can help me with my problem in AI that they can help me with. There's like really, that can happen really fast. That's not usually like very strong either. Like I think those people are still quite price conscious, and they're just trying to be opportunistic, and they're like, here's a guy, maybe I'll talk to him, see if it works. If the price is right, yeah, sure, I'll give it a crack. Where brand really comes in is when you stop having to compete on price, because people only want you. Like when like brands come and they want to sit down with us for us to pitch for their work, more often than not, they're saying, look, we're not looking at anyone else. We just need to know whether or not you guys are the right partner for us, and can we actually afford you where it is. So they're not even really looking at price. They will accept the price we can. If they physically can't pay it, they can't, but they'll try to find the budgets. Like the amount of times we've worked with clients who are like, that wasn't in our budget, but let us go away. We'll see if we can find it. We'll come back and work with you. So that's, I think, where brand really starts to play. That takes a long time. The way to compress that, in my view, is that it's not necessarily like how long have they seen and been following. It's how often they see us and on how many different formats. So I used to talk about it as like, I just made this up, but it was like, I wrote this article about the 3,000 rule, where I said, like, if it takes 3,000 times for someone to see you, you can do that over 3,000 weeks or 3,000 days, right? And so if I do over 3,000 days, I just need to put out more content more often in more formats and on more different people's platforms and profiles, that I'm going to be seen from everywhere, that people are going to go, hey, I keep seeing this guy everywhere. I've seen him 10 times just today. There must be something there. Let me have a chat with him, right? Where did you get
number 3,000 from?
It was like completely made up. Like,
people are probably going, what, 3,000?
You know what? I think where it came from is like, I was like, what if you did 10 things a day for a year? And I was like, it's roughly 3,000. And then I was like, because then I could compress it to a month. I was like, well, you could do it 100 things a day for a month. I think that was like it was like made up, totally, like completely made up. The point is just that, like, it does actually take that. Like, it takes a certain amount of touch points with a person before they start to trust you. You can spread that out over 10 years, or you can spread that out over a short amount of time. Now, there's a limitation to how much you can compress that, because like if someone sees you 1,000 times in a couple of days, you might just be someone who's just gone mega viral in that moment, and there's a bunch of hype, but then it dies off the next day and they never hear from you again. So I would say that it still takes a significant amount of time. Like we're talking months. It
takes more than people realize. I think that's
way more than people realize. Way more. Yeah. I often will say to a client, even if we're getting you 5 to 10 million views a month, which is like quite normal for us to do when we start a campaign for a client, you still might not expect a return for this for 6 to 9 months, if not 12. Like, it takes that long for it to start to work. Where most clients see the return is that they've also got a paid layer that, because of our virality, it's like completely driving down their cost per acquisition on their paid. So in that instance, but like service-based businesses, that doesn't work for them at all, because like their lead generation is still not, it doesn't work that way, quite the same way. Their paid leads aren't the same as their inbound leads. So anyway, my point of it is, it takes a long time.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Love it. I got several directions I could go with from all of that. It's fantastic. With the lead generation though, like especially with service-based businesses, there's always a sales cycle, and as you sort of alluded to, like, it's different from inbound organic leads than it is from paid leads, and doing outreach. There's always a different sales cycle. And one thing I've noticed with the businesses that I work with, and they're all different sizes, so I'm interested to know if you found the same thing, because I got international brands all the way down to like 1 or 2 man businesses that they generally do have quite a high transaction size, those smaller ones. But anyway, there's a big range there. Is most of them don't have a sales process or recognize the need to have one. And so like my biggest problem, I've been doing lead generation for specifically with LinkedIn for 11 years, but digital marketing longer than that. One of the biggest problems I have is when clients, don't close the leads. Do you get involved in that side of things at all?
No, I get dragged into it sometimes at clients like want our support and how we do from a sales cycle. But as a business, we always have to realign and get focused and say, no, like, we're not your sales department, we're your marketing department. And actually, if anything, these days, you'd probably describe us as your branding department more than anything.
Yeah.
Because I think marketing's kind of been butchered in that. Marketing means ROI. It means like attribution. This and like I spent $1 and I got $2 out. I think that's how people, because the performance marketing was so successful for such a long period of time, that it kind of shifted how people think of marketing.
Yep.
So we probably more consider ourselves as brand marketers. And so we say to them, like, we're quite far removed from your sales process. Like, we can't do that piece for you. If I was going to sell, like I say this point blank to a lot of service clients, if I was going to sell your product and do the sales process, I'll just start my own accounting firm. I'll just hire an accountant, right? Like if I'm going to go get all the deals, I want the whole lot. Why would I give you any? Like if you can afford to pay me my fees and make profit off of the business I get, well, then I could just run my own accounting firm. So I'm pretty upfront about that.
Was it your Instagram page or your company's Instagram page? I'm pretty sure it was where you had a little clip of you talking. Yeah. I think you're on the speakerphone to a client talking about this because I circulated it with my team, and I was like, we need to be more direct with these guys.
Yeah. Exactly, that was me. Yeah, I was talking to a person on the phone, and I was just like, because it's so true. Like, people think marketing and sales are the same thing. They work together, of course. Don't get me wrong. But like, you don't want your marketers to sell and you don't want your salespeople to market. And the reason why is marketing is a long-term game. Like it's about building brand. It's about generating interest inside of your brand, inbound leads, all this sort of stuff. Getting that feeling so people trust. Sales is about converting. It's about closing. It's about, it's still trust building. Good salespeople still build trust, but they do it at a much granular level rather than like, I'm trying to do it indirectly to thousands, if not millions of people at once. A salesperson is trying to do it one-on-one with someone, especially in the services industry. Trying to get to that level. And you don't want us doing that. Like, we can't do that for a piece of content. Like, that's so, have you ever got to that level of intimacy with someone on a piece of content? Like, very few people ever get to that level of stardom.
Well, like what you said about there's no competition, like when you build that trust, because the way I look at it, and I would have stolen this from somewhere, I can't remember where, so I'm just going to claim it, like whatever. But I always think of it like, your audience is 95% of them, let's say, I'm just picking a number, but 95% aren't ready to do something today, right? And let's say 5% are. And I find that most people that are like, most people want to market to that 5%. They're like, how do we find that 5%? What they end up doing is just talking to all of them as if they're the 5%. And so they sort of and piss off like 95%. And I always think of it like, no, I want to focus on the 95% because when they drop into the 5%, they don't want to talk to anyone else. You know?
The 95-5 rule is such a, like, I don't know where it comes from either, but like I
you heard of it? Okay.
all the time as well. And maybe I'll listen to you. Yeah. But it's so true. Like I say, I use it all the time for people. I'm like, look, because when you say it to people, they understand, right? Like, I was talking to some mortgage advisors the other day about their content, and they're like, no, like we want to talk about content that people, will give us a call for and like get leads. And I was like, how many people out there at any given time, as a percentage of the population, are looking to buy a house? It's not even 5%. It might be 1%, and there might be 2% of people who are thinking about maybe doing it. The rest of us don't care, but everyone at some point thinks about buying a house, or at least majority of the population thinks about buying a house. Whether or not they do or not, it's a different story, but they might think about it, right? And so don't you just want to be the person who they think of could answer that problem for them when they do? So that 1 or 2%, they're probably transacting every year or two. So there's a new 3% of people coming through every year. And over your career, you would have got through the whole lot. So that's kind of the way I sort of think of it too. I believe in this 95-5 thing. And it's even more prominent for people who are like shorter sales cycles, because you do actually turn through everyone over like a 6-month period or whatever. But if you start marketing at 5%, I don't care. Like if you start talking about OCR, like the official cash rates, like I don't care. But if you talk about your journey as a business owner, as a mortgage advisor, brokerage business, I probably will care because I'm going through my own business journey. So I want to listen to your story or whatever.
100%. Yeah. I just think about it like my own buying journey. Like every time I've hired someone off social media, it's been that way. Like I've been following them for a year and I can't wait till I have that problem so I can get this guy to solve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I've done it plenty of times. Like actually, like I don't think there's a service provider we currently work with we haven't hired that way. like our
Yeah.
IT, our like HR people, like everyone, every single service provider, either from online or I've met them at networking events as well. I consider networking events very, like actually more important probably than like content, because it's like marketing on steroids, right? It's like putting content, you're just having a one-on-one. That's that bit I was talking about, like meet people in person. But yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same sort of idea. I wasn't ready for them when I first met them at a networking event, but like 3 years later, I'm like, hey, like I've met you a few times. Like I need some help with IT. Like, can your business come?
Yeah. Yeah, and you notice it when, like, if you do a bit of networking. So I used to do a lot of networking. I used to run a lot of networking events, and I don't do it as much now. But when I do go to like a dinner or something, you know, it's like I may sort of recognize people in the room, but I don't really I don't remember who they are or know their names, but they know who I am. And it's because I'm posting content, right? Because they keep top of mind. Like you know, it's not like it's very different to being famous, right? You're not famous. Like you're not like it's not like you're getting stopped on the street and not everyone knows you, but in like a small, very specialized group of people, you could walk in the room and most of them know your name. You know, it's pretty powerful.
Absolutely. Especially on LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is so powerful for that. Like in the business communities where you sort of work or live in, like for me in Auckland especially, is very like it would be almost impossible for me to walk into a business networking event in Auckland and not know at least half the room, or have most of the room know who I am, just because they can't get away from my face every day on LinkedIn, right? Because network effect in this place. And so I think that for sure, and it's way stronger at that point because they're like business owners at a networking event. Why else do you go to a networking event if it isn't for business? But we also we found the same like scaled out on Instagram and TikTok. So we probably we might average anywhere between 30 to 100 million views in a month on our social accounts. And so we get the same. It's nowhere near as valuable. Like I'll get stopped. Like the first day I was in New York, when I first ever went to New York as part of this business, my wife and Joni, who was our internal content creator, we got stopped the very first day and then kept getting stopped every day after that in New York. Like New Yorkers and Americans are much more, I guess, forward in coming up to you and talking to you compared to like Kiwis. Kiwis are pretty reserved, conservative sorts of people. We don't really do that on the street. But like over there, we're getting stopped left, right, and center. That's how we got our first deal in New York. Some guy just had seen us and then was like, hey, come up. I know I've seen your content. Like, come up and talk to us up here. It was a Fortune 100 company. Like, they were massive. He was the head of content for them. And so, like, that sort of stuff, that in person, that was what I was saying, that in person opportunity too, when people meet you, it starts to scale when they know you, like you were saying, like they already know who you are. And then LinkedIn, I've gotten the most from that because of this how LinkedIn knows how to group you in these like business networks, right? And it becomes quite incestuous almost. Like everyone kind of knows
I'm interested to know what you think about that. Like, do you think that the algorithm's getting better? Like, what are your thoughts on what the changes that have happened in the last year?
Oh, look, I don't know if I think it's getting better or worse. I don't know how to comment. I don't typically like to comment on the algorithm by good or bad. It's definitely made it harder for me. Like I haven't yet figured out my response to how it shares my content. And to be honest, like my content has never performed worse than it is right now on LinkedIn. Which is still good for most people.
What is that based on though? Because like a lot of people say, especially creators, like I'm talking about creators, like they're selling to creators, you know, they just measure everything on views, you know, and it's like, oh, my views have gone down, the algorithm sucks. Like, I mean, to be honest, when my views go down, I just get really curious because like quite often that doesn't mean I'm going to make less sales. It could mean we're way more targeted.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, it's about, like when I say it's gone down as views, but I don't necessarily blame the algorithm. I just don't think I've figured out what I need to do. I need to make better content. I can tell you hand on heart right now that my content on LinkedIn hasn't had the same attention to it as probably my Instagram and my TikTok has at the moment, just because it's always been so solid. My LinkedIn is still the biggest driver of business into our company, and so I like for a long time it had so much attention. And the last probably 3 or 4 months, I still obviously put attention into it, doing it, but like way less than I used to because I've been trying to build other things, and we only have so much time in the world. But I don't think there's any point blaming the algorithm. I don't think there's any point blaming the algorithm. Like, there's just no point. Like, you can't do anything about it. You can't change the algorithm. So just figure out how to make better content. Something's happening with your content and people aren't seeing it. But if you're getting the right people still view, it's that idea of what if you're getting 1,000 people watch your content, have you ever stood in front of 1,000 people? That's a lot of people. And if they're the right types of people, you can look at their job titles. If they're all CEOs or whatever your demographic is, man, if you put me in front of 1,000 CEOs, I would do that every day. I would do that every day. If you put me in a room with 1,000 CEOs, I'd turn up every day to speak. I'd fly to wherever you are in the world if I had to every day, because I would make so much money doing that if that was what I was getting every day. Yeah,
you should try this next time somebody says, "Oh, I've only got 300 views on my content." Send them a photo of what 300 people in an auditorium looks like.
It's huge. We do a run club as part of our company. We do a run club on Fridays.
Cool.
Get 100 to 120 people come up to our office, and we run around the block for 40 minutes or whatever.
Really? That's so cool.
Yeah. It's 120 people. It's a mob. It's a mob of people. People, the councils had to be "Hey, I need you to run on the parks because we've had some complaints about you on the footpaths because you take it up because there's so many people." That's 120. Imagine if that was 300. There's so many people. People.
So how do you position that? If it's at your coming from your office, is it positioned as a networking thing, or it's we like to go for a run, come join us?
It is actually positioned at it. We like to go for a run, come join us. But the actual there's two parts to the marketing funnel. So remember, our job, we're quite a large team now, so we've got a very messy middle of the funnel. Our middle of the funnel is very messy with lots of different places that people can interact with us. And this is one of those areas where, as I just said, getting people in person and meeting them in person is very powerful. But our two marketing angles for it are brands sponsor the Run Club all the time. They give us free stuff all the time. I've got a meeting tomorrow with a major apparel brand who wants to sponsor for 3 months, for a whole 3 months. They're not necessarily going to pay us money, not necessarily, but they are going to give a bunch of stuff away. So then we get more and more people. That is a brand image that our brand is associated with this massive apparel brand is huge for us. People will think they're paying us money, right? No one will know. But they'll think they're paying money. I'll be honest about it. They aren't, and they probably won't. But that's okay. They're going to deck us out all in gear. They're going to give gear to the runners. So there's that bit. And then every once in a while, some of the smaller brands are or actually even the larger ones can you guys actually just help us with our marketing, help us with our stuff? So there's that lead gen piece, right? So that slowly happens. And then the second one is actually the people who turn up. It's a Friday afternoon at 6 p.m. we go for a run. The only type of people who are running at a Friday at 6 p.m. are the most ambitious people you'll ever find because they're not at the pub yet, right? They will go to the pub afterwards, but I got to train first and then I'll go to the pub. And
100%.
So you just get 100%. You just get these weapons. Everyone who turns up on a Friday is a weapon. They're just so ambitious and awesome people. So I'm actually getting two parts of it. I'm getting people who are potential future clients because they're ambitious people already. Yeah. And two, finding future staff. The amount of amazing people who come who are we're going to work for you, Stan. I want to come in, and I'm keep coming. If there's a job open, I know who you are now, so I'm going to give you an interview.
Well, you save a lot of money. Don't have to shout all the staff Friday drinks. You just take them for a run.
Yeah, exactly. All the time. You know how many of my staff actually show up these days? So many of them okay. At first they were yeah, and then now they're it's Friday night. All right.
Yeah, that's okay.
The door to take your position. No, I'm joking.
No, that's all right. You could do it afterwards, hey? Yeah, like you said. You've talked about being an introvert, right? Running a company literally called the Attention Seeker. How do you reconcile that tension day to day?
Yeah, that's the name is a piss take, right? 100%. When I first started, every one of my friends and family are this is not you at all, Stan. This is an actual mistake. And I did it on purpose because I was like, I knew that attention was the thing that I had to get for me to start a business. And at first, as I said, I didn't really know what the business was. When it became marketing, I thought it was quite funny that attention seeker is the name. But as an introvert, like the reason I was able to do it is I have, I made a promise to my wife. Well, actually, my wife made a promise to me, actually, to say that, hey, I will back you in building your own business. You've always wanted to, and you're going to give it a red hot crack. If it falls over, we'll go back and get jobs. But in return, you have to try. Like, you have to not half-ass this. And so at every stage, I realized that I don't have enough capital to go and invest and do a proper startup. I knew nothing about capital raise at the beginning of the journey. I didn't even know that was a thing really when I first started, because I come from hotels, right? Like, it wasn't a thing I got taught. But what I did know is I understood social media. I had learned LinkedIn in the hotel game just through a guy that taught me how to use LinkedIn really well. So I had this model to go forward with. And so I said to myself, like, I know you don't want to do any of these things, but you just have to persevere and push through. And then what I realized is that actually being an introvert didn't mean that I was shy or that I didn't like to talk to people. It just meant that it exhausted me. Like, it was about my energy levels and how much it would drain me. And so, even after this, a remote podcast, I'll give you everything right now. I made that commitment to you when you asked me to be on this. I'll give it to you. When we finish this, I'm done. Like, I'm finished. Like, I'm exhausted. I'm done. And that's the same when I do all the things like putting out content and everything. It really drains me. But I know I have to do it for my business to succeed. And so at this point in time, I really just I do it because I have so many people relying on me to do this. Right? I have mouths on my team to feed. I made this promise to my wife that I'd keep giving it a go. And I think that, like, where introverts excel in this space is that, although we might get tired and we might not necessarily like to put ourselves out there first, we do have a lot to say because we don't spend all day saying nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you get like extroverts in my team who are just yapping all day long, talking all day long. And then when they go to write something or they go to create content, they've got nothing to say. It's like classic in our team. The introverts in my team have the most to say when it comes to content. They've thought their ideas through. They think to speak. And I'll tell you right now, like, the best person in our team at writing content is a girl called Tyler. She's as introverted as they can. Every office we get, she's like, put me in a corner. I just want to put my hood on. I want to just edit, make my content. I don't want to have to talk to heaps of people. She's like, I love everyone, but like, I just want that space. And then she writes these posts on LinkedIn, and you're like, wait, what is this? And she makes content on her own, even video content for TikTok. And she just like nails it. And actually, I've realized over time, introverts probably on average, one, better at communicating what it is that they want to say when they want to say it with some practice. And two, they funnily enough are actually less insecure than extroverted people on average, is what I found.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, which is really weird. I think extroverted people are more confident, but that confidence is masking insecurities.
100%. I agree with you. Yeah.
When you get extroverted people to be like, put themselves outside of their comfort zone, they don't like it.
That's so fascinating. You really thought about all this stuff. That's so true. I've never thought of it like that. Like, you think about the musicians, like Eminem and like these guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Eminem's a great example.
Walk around like this, anyway, and then all of a sudden, like, it just explodes.
Just explode, right? Yeah, because they're there to do a job. Like, I think that's another thing for introverts. Like, we understand, like, we have jobs to do, and we see it differently. When you can break through from because I think it's natural for introverts to be shy or whatever at first, but when you can, I think everyone's shy, but when you can break through that, introverts kind of come in and be like, okay, I got to get this thing done, and then I'm over and I'm out, and I can go be quiet again in my own corner, but I know I just need to get this thing done. Whereas like extroverts are like, their energy comes from other people, so they're constantly making sure that, like, wait, does everyone still love me?
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so they're more worried, where I don't get my energy from everyone else, and if people don't like me when I talk, well, that's your problem, not mine. Like, I'm going to go recharge on my own. I'm sweet. You know what I mean? So,
and you'd be way more, because if you need that, if you're looking for that energy from other people, you're going to be more concerned about, okay, did it get likes? Did it get more so than the actual craft? Yeah,
Agreed. Agreed. That's what I see on average now. It's not a hard and fast rule, but I do see it quite common with clients and staff.
Yeah. I've always been confused whether I'm an introvert or an extrovert, but I think my natural instinct is like not to talk. Like, put it this way, I recharge my batteries when I'm on my own. So I think that sums it up, right?
That sums it up. That's what it is. And you've been confused by the way society talks about introverts being the quiet, shy ones, but that's not the truth. That's shy. That's not introversion.
Yeah, and I love going out and socializing, but if I don't get a break for I'm the sort of guy that will go to a networking dinner and get the Uber to drop me off around the corner so I can walk on my own first to get there.
Yeah. I'm the type of guy who's like, when people invite me to networking events now, I'm like, can I speak? And they're like, why? Like, we got no money to pay speak. I was like, no, I'll speak for free, because now I'm like, people will come up to me, so I don't have to go up to them to talk, because otherwise I'm the one standing there because I don't want to go up to anyone because I don't. Yeah. But I know if I'm at this networking event that I'm meant to be talking to people, if I get to speak at it, then everyone comes up to you afterwards because they're like, oh, can I ask you a question about such and such? I always thought about that. I think like maybe it was Gary Vee or somebody who talks about like being the host of the party. Like that's another reason why we do the Run Club, and we run probably 2 or 3 events every week. In some form of another. So I'm always running events just so that I can be the host of the party, so people come up and speak to me because I don't want to have to go make the effort to do it to them.
100%. I'm just having a look at the comments here. I want to make sure we address some of these questions.
Cool.
All right, let's just start here. So David says, greetings from South Africa. Welcome, David. I host Vision 2026, where we give expertise a voice. Right now, we only use Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Do you suggest I also use TikTok and Instagram as well?
Yeah, that's interesting. My views on platforms are the platforms are not the concern. The content's the concern. Platforms are free to distribute content on. So, like we tell our clients all the time, if you make a piece of content, like a video, the expense was making the video. You may as well then put it everywhere you can, because it's the distribution part's free. And there's many clients we have right now who are going viral on platforms they didn't want to be on. Like right now, Pizza Hut New Zealand is like going viral on YouTube right now. And they well, it's not that they didn't want to be there. It was never part of the initial scope. But it's like, we may as well post it. It's the same video. It costs nothing for distribution. A video like the other week did like 5 million views. And we weren't going to post it there before. Like last year we didn't post it, and now we are. So like, you may as well. My only caveat to that is that keep a little eye on it. You don't have to look at it every day, but just see if one of them does take off. So for instance, YouTube and Facebook started taking off for Pizza Hut, which was not their initial platforms as part of the scope. There was comments, lots of comments. So now they have to think about how do they interact with that audience now. And there's more cost that comes with that. But that's where you make your money. So why would you not? Yeah,
and you have absolute. I think you got to look at the engagement that you're getting as well, because I know guys that are getting, they'll have like 3 million followers on TikTok, and they might only have like 5,000 on LinkedIn. But when they look at it, like that's not, they're not getting any business from TikTok. So just it's quality of the audience. For me, it's different. Like everyone would assume I get all my business from LinkedIn, right? I'm a LinkedIn marketing agency. That's not where my best clients come from.
Yeah, interesting.
Right? They come from YouTube, right? So,
Hey.
So the goal really for me with my LinkedIn is to get people to YouTube, because if they watch the longer form content, then they're the best clients.
Yeah, that makes sense. And look, I'd say YouTube long form. Like all roads lead to YouTube long form.
Exactly.
Like we purposely have not tried, apart from podcasts, very hard in YouTube long form, because I understand how much effort needs to go in it. I don't want to half-ass it. Like it is a lot of work, and we've done everything else. But like all roads lead to YouTube long form if you can nail that. I think in terms of David's question as well, when you look at these other platforms like TikTok and Instagram, don't go and make specific content for them if you aren't already, unless you have the resources to do it properly. That's what my point about YouTube long form. I would love, like it's on the plan to do it this year. Me and my social media manager are looking at it, but like I've been saying that for 4 years too. So whether or not we get to it is a different story, because it like takes a lot of time, right? Like as you know, like YouTube is a lot of work to do it right. And I would say, David, if you're not already making short form video content, or potentially on Instagram, you could say carousels and statics. If you're not already creating content that can natively live on those other apps, don't invest in it unless you have the resources to do it properly. But if you are already creating short form videos, like say for Facebook, then yeah, definitely, why not just push it out to Instagram and TikTok as well?
100%, yeah, totally. And I think I was doing like LinkedIn, Instagram. I was kind of doing it, but like I never got much business from Instagram either, so I was not that focused on it. I've got a big audience there, but there's just, I don't know, they just don't do business really. So the short form stuff, I was always focused on LinkedIn, and what I've actually done is I've used Opus Clip like to do the AI videos, and that actually will punch things straight into the calendar, and it'll publish on TikTok, Instagram. What else do I do? I think I do a company page on Facebook. Company does YouTube Shorts now. I never did YouTube Shorts before. And they don't actually go to my main account. They go to the company account, because I was like, I don't really want AI doing the main account. But that's working really well. Like I'm posting like 10 times a day on TikTok, and I don't even look at it. It's great.
Yeah. No,
I
love that.
And this is from this. Like I'll go live. It'll automatically pull it into Opus Clip, cut it up into 30 clips, and publish it on those not main channels, but there's content going there. And then like if I'm on Instagram and I see Bibby Media's done a good video, I'll just reshare it on my main account.
That's it. Well. Yeah. I love that. And I think also like another thing you can do there, which I mean, it might cost a bit in Opus credits and everything, but like there's that idea of like you get AI set up in a way where you actually end up having like 80 accounts, 100 accounts. And that's what this clip farming podcast, that's what, like, I don't know if you saw Roy Sutherland do that about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Do you know Roy Sutherland? He used to work for, I think, Saatchi's or something. He's a big advertising guy. Anyway, you might have seen his clips for a bit. So for about 4 or 5 months, he just like must have paid an agency to do essentially that clip farm. Got all the podcasts, all the talking events he's ever done, all this sort of long form he had, and he would have been across 100 platforms. Like they had just pushed him out on all these like other people's all these aggregator accounts of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And that meant that you just kept seeing him everywhere. He was on, and there wasn't he didn't have his own TikTok at the time. There was no Roy Sutherland TikTok page. It was just all these like fan pages or like motivation clips or like marketing conversation pages. So there's a way, it's called clip farming essentially, but like you go in, you take the Opus clips, you push them out across 100 different platforms. AI automates it all. You never have to be part of it. And all it does is it finds its audience. Now it's pretty like, I don't want to say it's a dirty tactic, but it works really well. Like I've seen so many people rise.
You can do it with other people's account, or do you have to set up the accounts yourself?
There's two ways to do it. You can pay other people to do the clip farming, and they have their own accounts. So that's one way to do it. There's like guys who have like 30,000 editors, and you just give them the long form, and they pay per viewership, so that you're like on the hook. If it reaches over like say 1 million views, they charge you a CPM for it, and so that's on their own pages that they get. And the CPM's like tiny, like it's tiny compared to if you paid Meta to do the same thing. Right. And they do all the editing, they do everything, and they push it out. And then there's like another way to do it where you own all 100, you're pushing your own clips out of it. But you might also be like say it's podcasts like this marketing. You might go grab like all the marketing podcasts there are, do the same clip farming to all of them. So that channel has like 5 or 6 different like people who are already influencers or already like very large audiences. And then like Stanley pops up like in between the middle of them all. And so people start to see it, right? So those are some other tactics that people are looking like, especially with AI today, with what you're doing, because it's like low effort, low cost, but it has like an outsized impact. Yeah. It's very interesting. There must be lots of guys doing that. That's very clever. It's heaps. I wouldn't do it for a long period of time if I was anyone. I would only do it for like a 2-3 month stint just to like saturate and then go away. Then just stay to your own platform. Yeah, anyway, very interesting. For anyone who wants to try, it's pretty out there.
All right, let's keep going. So David's added to that. So if anyone agree that LinkedIn does group people together, that's a good value add there, David, for sure. Mindset is the right. Storm Dawson is our legendary manager of our office. So always good to see you here, Storm. We've got another one here. It's a bit longer. Interesting conversation, gents. My current future clients live on LinkedIn. I'm in the sustainability space. My clients are concerned about EHS and ESG reporting. Give an example of Pizza Hut. Would you recommend me to post in other platforms because it's free? Do you know what EHS and ESG reporting is?
No, but I'm getting. It's probably like I think. I think I do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Like in the sustainability space, gives us a clue, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. I just can't remember what it is. Environmental, social governance, or something like that. I might be right or might be wrong, but I get what you mean. It's in sustainability. It's probably a high-level topic and conversation that they want to have. The thing is with your clients, they're only concerned about that during their job and doing their job. Every other part of their day, they don't care about ESG or EHS. And like that's like me. Like I don't care about marketing most of the day. Like most of the day, I don't actually care about marketing. When I have to do my job, I really care about it. I'm going to get it done right. But I don't go, oh man, I can't wait to go home to Netflix and watch that really cool marketing show. Like I just don't really care. And then when I'm scrolling on my TikTok or Instagram, I don't really care. Even on LinkedIn, I'm actually not looking for marketing content. I actually really I like to follow like entrepreneurs building in public. I like the stuff the type of content I create. I create content that I like to watch. And so when you think about your type of audience, like who are they? Like what type of people are they? What do they want to watch? What do they care about? How do you tell stories in that same world? And I think that when you can get to that level and understand that that's the type of content that's probably going to get a lot more, viewership. It doesn't mean you don't do any HS or ESG or any of that sort of stuff, but like no one's going to read content about ESG all day long. Like no way. You can find an intersection. Like there are ways to find intersection content. So like a real good example, this might be a good practical takeaway for people. So we have an insurance brand, large national insurance company who specialize in motor insurance, right? And they wanted to make content that got people talking about insurance. And we said, okay, well, that's a big ask. Like no one talks about insurance. That's the most boring topic ever. However, what we did is like, okay, well, first of all, let's find this intersection between people's interests and insurance. And what we found is that like viral crash videos, like people love a viral crash video. Wow. People love watching cars get totaled, right? And all like dumb mistakes, right? They love it. So we had that, and the intersection was their claims advisors watching it live on camera and reacting to the video, and then the end of it saying, would we cover it or not? Oh, we'd cover that, or we wouldn't cover that. And so you can imagine like people stayed for the viral video, but then they started the conversation. The comments like, well, would you cover this situation? Would you cover that situation? Well, I had this happen. Would you do? We started getting thousands of comments from people wanting to ask questions about insurance. Oh my God, it still makes me sick. But it's perfect. Like that's the intersection, right? That's the intersection between their interest and your business.
Yeah, and it's like such a great talking point. Like, you know, you see that guy at the networking function and it's like, oh, those videos are so cool. Like, yeah, I totally get it. Because everyone's been to, if you've been to a business networking thing where people actually stand up and go, this is my business, this is what we do. Like any insurance broker you hear stand up is going to say the same thing, right?
Yeah, 100%. Every time. Because no one cares about insurance. Insurance is one of those products that you should never need to use, right? Yes. You pay it. Begrudgingly you pay it, but you hope for how you never have to use it. And so no one wants to talk about it because we've all spent so much money on insurance and we don't want to think about it. But that moment we started to get the that conversation happen. And then obviously like from a content series, it took off. First video did like 300,000. Yeah,
you're spot on what you said about like I don't want to talk about market. Like when I go to these, I just join this like it's top of mind. So like a business networking dinner, and I love them because it's not all about like business. Like it's so it is, but it's not like we have wine and like we always go to nice restaurants and like it's just more than that. And like I mean. like I hired a personal trainer recently, right? And like he's fantastic, and I would not have hired anyone else. I've been watching his content for about a year. I'm not really interested in the way that he does these exercises, right? I just like really enjoyed watching his like little funny takes that he would take while he's traveling, or like he makes hip hop music, and I think that's interesting. And so when I actually like did my first session with him, I was like, oh wow, you're actually a really good trainer. Like, you know, because I didn't really care about that at all when I hired him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I kind of have an idea that like if you say you do something, especially in the professional services space, you probably can do it potentially. It like I'm going to assume that you can because you say you're a personal trainer or an accountant. The way I'm going to build trust with you is as a person. I'm not going to build trust with you as a trainer or trust with you as an accountant. I'm going to build trust with you as a person first. And if I trust you, then I'll trust you can also do the thing you say you do. And so if people are making these silly little videos that I relate to and that like they make sense, and then I watch them and I was like, man, that's a good guy. Like that's a good person. I trust who they are. Or I feel comfortable having dialogue. Because most people who are starting a business, there's very few people out there, very few, who intentionally start a business to rip people off. That's not a normal thing. Most small businesses are not trying to do a bad job. They genuinely are trying to create a good, successful business. The norm, the majority of them, and 99% of them are. Like very few people are intentionally trying to be rip-off artists or scam artists, right? So if you have a really good relation with that person, you can talk to them and you can have honest conversations back and forth, and you're able to talk to them really well. You can give them feedback so that they can improve and do their job even better. When you don't give them feedback, we all know this as service-based clients. If clients don't talk to us and we think everything's going well, and then all of a sudden they just churn because they didn't like something, but they never told us, and it's been happening for 3 months. Like, how could we ever have improved that? It wasn't my fault. Like, I thought we're doing a good job. I want to do a good job, but you didn't tell me. You didn't talk to me.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, 100%, totally. All right. Well, look, we've gone an hour, and I want to ask you something a bit selfish. I wouldn't mind getting your opinion on something. We always have to justify these things we want to do with business reasons, right? One of the things I've been wanting to do for a while, right? And I haven't quite made the decision yet. Are you a dad? Do you have kids?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay. Well, anyway, I want to start a podcast about being a dad, right?
Oh, yeah,
I've wanted to do it for ages. I want to interview dads, and I want to interview dads and their dad like together, and I want to set up the studio in my house. Like we want to do it for ages, right? The reason I haven't done it is because I'm like, this has got nothing to do with business, right? But like when you said the run club thing, I was like, maybe it is the messy middle.
Yeah, I'm all for it. You know, like I think that if you say being a dad, like you had a pretty high chance of asking a 39-year-old who's married if he's had kids that I was going to say yes. It's pretty rare for people like my age who are married and been with my same partner for 10 years now not to have kids, right? We're a very different case who've decided not to have children, but like you had a high chance of making that answer, right? And I'm probably like a real normal demographic of your target audience if you think about it. So actually you guys can relate as being dads, which means you can build trust really well. I think it's like a high percentage play as a branding piece. My advice is in podcasts. I actually think if you are starting a podcast today, if I was to start from scratch, actually my podcast has evolved this year to do something similar, is to go in on a niche. Like even if it's a business podcast, and even if it's a business podcast with dads, go find something else. Like, is it fishing or golf or cricket or some other thing? Can you go do it there? Like there's a guy in New Zealand at the moment, a fishing podcast. It's just a good podcast with blokes talking stuff. It's a really good podcast, but it's a fishing podcast. He's done it on jet skis before. He's done it on a boat. He's done it in like a land, sea, and fishing store, and it's super engaging. He's got this other thing about it. So my podcast is I interview content creators from like TikTok and Instagram, like young kids, pretty much mostly who have gone viral. And
cool.
I decided that I was like, I've done 100 episodes. I was like, I'm bored of sitting in a podcast room like every day because I'm on other people's podcasts and I'm on my podcast. I'm on podcasts all the time.
You should take it for a run.
Well, we did. That was one of the ideas. We're like, should we do a run? But like, I'm 110 kg man, so I like pant a lot when I'm running. Like, I'm in the heavyweight division of running, so it's quite hard for me. But so actually, I did the full opposite. We took them for food. So our whole thing is that like I'm known as well when I take people out for lunch and dinner. Like I order the whole menu. Like I just order everything. So we're just like doing the podcast in a restaurant, and I order the entire menu, and then we just sit there and see how much we can eat of that entire menu whilst also trying to do an interview.
Oh wow!
And
awesome.
So like my thing is, it's like like I just said with insurance, you find that intersection, right? Like, what are the interests of our audiences and everything? How do you find it? So with dads, like
it'd have to be drinking wine, because then it would just be like the third hour would just be epic.
No, well, that's it, right? Like you have that little edge to it, so it becomes entertaining, right? That people want, because there is a podcast for everyone right now, and I think, as you know, running podcasts like I do, podcasts are hard to get cut through with. They're very hard. They take a long time. They're supposed to take a long time. They have a lot of upside to them because you're getting people with you for an hour, but they're very hard to grow. And so having that little angle, I reckon go for it, man. I'm all for it.
It's interesting. Like some guys that will probably, like, I don't know if they would say yes to like a marketing business podcast interview. Like some guys that I approached that I would look kind of like a little bit like, I don't know if they'll respond or not. When I asked, because I test the market, so I'm like, I'm starting this dad podcast. I haven't decided if I'm doing it yet, but I thought, let's see if I can get any guests. And these guys are all responding, going, I'd love to do that. Like, they want to talk about that. Yeah,
I agree. I reckon it's a great idea. Like that, like we do this one series. Like it's probably the last thing you need to hear because it's already over now. But I did this one series with a client where we understand that dads don't talk about being dads often enough, and they especially 100%. Don't talk about like tough topics with their kids as well, or their kids being able to ask them things. So we did this one particular series with a client where we have dads interviewing, or it's sons and dads. The son's always like around 10, 12, sort of like tween age. So they're old enough that they got coherent thoughts, but not like so old that they're too cool to be there. And then there's the dads who with their dads, and we have these like really deep conversations. They're really emotional, like they're really deep, and like these dads don't really get cut up. It is going bananas. Like they do 10, 15, 20 million views a month. And like people are just so hooked into these stories of dads and their kids because it's not something we see a lot of.
But is the audience like female, like, or male, or is it both? I mean, I guess it'd be both, right?
Honestly, it's a pretty 50-50 split. There's a lot of men in there watching it going, man, I should go talk to my son. Like,
and then women are like, oh my God, it's a man being vulnerable. This is awesome.
Exactly, pretty much. Yeah, that's a pretty even split of 50-50, which is cool. It's not just one-sided. But like, how often do you see father-son content or men opening up about being dads? Doesn't happen. Yeah. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, cool. All right, thanks, guys. All right, thanks for being here, everyone. Like, we'll have to wrap up, but I could keep chatting to you for ages. This has been fantastic. So thanks for your time, Stanley. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. That was awesome.
Guys, go follow Stanley on LinkedIn. I'm going to drop his link in the comments after this, and check out the Attention Seeker. The content they're putting out is really creative. Like I've learned a lot today. So appreciate your time, man. And we'll see you guys next week. We've got Jack Henderson on next week, who's doing some pretty interesting stuff in the real estate space. I will say one word: polarizing comes to mind. So we're going to learn a lot from him as well. But I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being here. And
thanks, everyone.
Cheers, Stanley.
Cheers.